world was young, the mountains green, no stain yet on the moon was seen.
Then with a crash came a great ringing shout. Ra, boom, ra.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow it if I can.
You God right, you can't stop it once it starts, because this is talking about Tolkien, Ben.
Talking about Tolkien, Nate.
You lit that fire. You can't put it out. Just like you cannot put out Lake Town.
I've been trying to be more conscious of the swearing in the first several minutes as we, get more popular on YouTube. And it's always you.
They know what I'm about. You can always bleep it out.
I do.
If it offends them. So, Ben, talking about Tolkien.
Talking about Tolkien. We're talking about episode. I mean, it's kind of episode. We're talking about chapter 15, The Gathering Clouds.
I hope that has nothing to do with a chapter, I think 18 maybe, The Clouds Burst. I hope that's not foreshadowing, because, oh boy, that's going to be unfortunate if true.
I wonder what the cloud metaphor could be. What do you think? This is
back before they had video games, so they looked at clouds for fun, I'm pretty sure. And
yeah.
It's either that or go to war, so...
Oh! Maybe they should just do that.
Yeah, I mean, they did. Again.
All right.
Where's your Concert of Europe now?
What? All right. So this is a short one. Do you want to take us through it as you do, Master
I read this
Storyteller?
one out loud to my wife, out of context.
Why?
She has neither seen nor read the books or movies. So,
I mean, I think The Hobbit is a book where you can get away with that more than any other. Was she inspired to pick it up and read it, or at least listen to our podcast on it?
Absolutely not.
Nah.
She also thought that Tolkien had a way of over-explaining simple things.
Well, divorce her. You don't want to know what my wife says about Tolkien.
Oh, all right, Ben. So, as you recall, 2 chapters ago, back when we were still with the dwarves, they had awoken, found there wasn't a dragon around, and were like, hey, let's get out of here before, we get got, Let's do that. So they leave the mountain, and they go to a watchtower further down the mountain, and they're just watching. They're keeping watch. They're waiting for the dragon to show up and presumably kill them all in one fell swoop, because they still have no plan for how they're going to deal with him. Even more so now. I guess now they have weapons, at least. I don't know what good that's going to do. I guess they could throw something really heavy at him, but yeah, they've got very little plan, and they're waiting for the inevitable.
Well, again, I think Smaug is maybe smaller in the books. I think like a spear could probably, if an arrow could get him, a spear would probably be good.
Yeah, but they'd have to throw that pretty hard.
Or you just run up and stab him.
Why wouldn't he just fly and burn you from the air?
Because presumably he's going to be in a cave.
Well, they're out in the open right now.
Yeah, that wasn't a great plan.
No, they made it so that he had the ability to get high in the air and just rain fire on them. Thorin's not a leader,
well,
he's not a master tactician.
I think we established, though, that by modern American business standards, Thorin is like a 6 Sigma black belt. He's the best. He's the best boss I've ever had.
6 Sigma?
That's real.
I know.
That's real.
I think we had that at our work.
It's old.
Supposed to do it, and I never did it, and then the pandemic happened. So Take that.
Yeah. It's a great time to be alive. Which is what everybody at Lake Town's saying. Am I right?
Yeah, got him. So instead of a dragon, there's just a shitload of birds. Just tons of birds. Birds on birds on birds for days. Including that magical, was it a lark?
There was a sparrow, I believe.
That doesn't sound correct. I would have remembered sparrow.
Okay.
What? It was a thrush.
A thrush. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, what is the thrush more closely related to? The sparrow or the lark?
They're all birds to me, Ben. Yeah, and to Bilbo, they're all target practice. So
Not the
that's
noble ravens of old. There's an
yeah,
elderly raven that's going to be very important.
yeah. The thrush starts trying to talk to him, and they're like, I can't understand him. His language is too fast. But gosh, I wish it were a raven. Man, that would be awesome. If it were a raven, they used to be around here. They used to be kindred spirits with the dwarves back in the old days. It's a shame that this piece of garbage thrush isn't a majestic raven. And the thrush is like, I got you. He brings back just an old, decrepit raven who's like the son of the raven that Balin is talking about. And
Yeah, keep
he
in
tells
mind,
them
ravens live like 20 years, and it's been like
he's a
100.
magic raven.
He isn't.
Yeah,
well,
because only humans get to have a shortened lifespan in this world. Thanks a lot, Dad.
I don't know. I think orcs might be
Those
checking out
don't
around
count.
40.
They don't have souls.
The orcs have souls,
They
actually.
don't count, Ben. Okay, they have souls in the way that gingers have souls. Okay.
They acquire one over time.
Shots fired.
Said the blonde.
Yeah. It's like the best thing to be. Anyway, the Raven is like, let me just catch you up on everything that happened last chapter. Big dragon, burned down the lake, dead now. Lakemen and elves are coming up to take that treasure. And Thorin is like, those sons of bitch. All right, we're going up. We're going to get my treasure. Let's go. Everyone marched up the mountain. Oh yeah, and they found the Raven brings news of 3 of their ponies live. So they're able to get those ponies, and they got some supplies, and then they let the ponies free. Presumably they will be killed by goblins later, spoiler alert, but like that'll happen off screen, so just pretend that they live forever.
In an earlier chapter, I gave the pony death toll, and these were the 3 ponies I mentioned that survived.
Yeah.
These are the only 3 confirmed ponies.
There needs to be a re-release of Lord of the Rings with a prequel chapter of how those ponies were killed by Nazgul.
What was it? 14, then 28. So what?
Not a good record.
Yeah.
It was not a good record with ponies.
2 ponies.
When I heard that they were going to get these 3 ponies, I feared for the ponies' lives.
Yeah, the ponies should run. I mean,
Yeah.
Presumably, best case scenario, the ponies are safe until the Battle of 5 Armies kicks off.
Yeah. Spoilers. So, they get to work. They check out that there are no other gates into the mountain, just the main gate. All the other ones have been smashed by Smaug, and they get to work building a wall that they're going to make the men of Lake Town pay for by not giving them treasure. You know what?
You did forget one thing that they talked to the Raven about.
Oh yeah, they're also going to send word to the dwarves in the Iron Mountains. His Thorin's cousin?
Cousin Dane.
Cousin Dane.
Or Dane.
I'm going to call him Dane, like the Dane Law.
like Dane Cook.
And you stop and you go, why would my brain even go there? Why would I even present that as an option?
Don't ruin it for me. So Dane's gonna come and help him out of this jam. It would have been awesome if, like, they had an army to take care of this dragon to begin with, but, like, better late than never, I guess. So
Yeah, it's crazy that you can just call Dane to come up with an army, and you didn't do that from the beginning.
You never thought about it. Dane was right there. You know how close he was to the mountain this whole time?
3 days march.
You didn't have to trek across the world to get to this mountain if you would have just crashed on Dane's couch until you were ready to go. But whatever.
Well, yeah, and like, I don't know. Oh, this is the deep lore, I guess. I'll have this answer. Spoiler, not for next time, but the next time after that. Why did Thorin not go to Dane initially? Like, as soon as Smaug took over? I guess maybe he was too proud? I don't know.
He was too proud, so he worked as a blacksmith for 100 years instead.
He's not proud now. He's not proud now. But no, my favorite part of this whole chapter is when they're like, the Lake Men are coming up for help, I think is how they phrase it. I don't think they phrase it as they're coming up to take all your gold. They're coming up to get their just, reward for killing the dragon. And also the elves are there because they want those white gems. And they are like scheming hard for him. But the raven, the senile bird is like, oh boy, Thorin, I don't know about this.
I'm not going to tell you if this is wise counsel or not, but like, are you sure?
You can tell by the fact that
Are
I'm
you
mentioning it that I don't think it's wise counsel. Like, I wouldn't say I won't say if it's wise counsel if I thought it was wise counsel,
I'm not going to say whether or not I think you're a moron, but like, you can try a little harder.
I'm bound by Raven law to carry out your request. This is a real dumb idea, Thorin. And it was.
Yeah, so the men of Lake Town, they come up, they find that, hey, there's like a pond here now, and a wall. And then from behind the wall, they hear, no, he goes, I'm Thorin, king under the mountain, son of Thrain. What business do you have here? They just look at the wall and go, I'm not paid enough for this. And they turn around wordlessly and they leave to go, presumably talk to Bard and be like, hey man, the fucking wall here now. They're not dead, actually. It's a bit complicated.
And then Bard, great guy, Bard. He's just like, oh, thank God, Thorin's still alive. Well, this will be super easy.
Yeah, we can reason with him. He seemed like a very reasonable dwarf. Hey, buddy, we kind of came here for some our just rewards, right? Like, we killed the dragon, and we lost all of our homes in the process.
And we funded your adventure.
And we gave you we when you came to us for aid, we took you in without any let's face it, we didn't think for a second you were going to win. Okay?
You can't say without any expectation of return, because we literally had songs passed down from generation to generation about our expectations.
Bard did not. Bard was the one guy who was like, yeah, they're all going to go up there and die. They're all going to go up there and be dragon food, and that's the last we're ever going to hear of that.
Bard, least fun guy at parties, best shot in the village. It's a mixed bag with Bard, like...
Bard also is like, I am the descendant of the King of Dale, and a lot of the treasure of Dale was taken and put in your mountain when Smaug came, so... some of that treasure is actually legitimately mine. So, all that being said, how about you give me some of that treasure?
All that being said, and just one more thing, Thorin. Just one more thing I'm going to say. And, don't let this influence you, but I have more than 13 friends. And they're all over there ready to kill you. And then my friends actually also have friends, and they're elves, and they're also ready to kill you.
That's what triggers him most.
That's not what triggers him. He was going to do this no matter what.
Probably.
He's
but
using the
I
elves
will
as
agree,
an excuse.
I will agree with Thorin that those elves,
your
they
anti-elf
triggered him.
propaganda.
Yeah. You know, he got thrown in jail by this guy.
It was his own damn fault.
No, he was hungry and starving. Did the Lakemen throw Thorin in jail? No. They had guest rights for him, Ben. They fed him and clothed him and sent him on his way. The elves
didn't show
did
up
not.
as a guest. He showed up as an armed intruder who
Armed
refused to
with what,
state his
Ben?
purpose.
Armed with what?
He had
A pathetic little knife. Oh, I guess he did have the Orc Slayer's sword.
He had orcs.
But it was for
He had an
it was
elf
for
sword.
slaying orcs, okay?
I am putting up a poll with this episode. Is Thorin like to blame for being arrested? All the okay,
No.
first off, he showed
the elves all the way, okay?
He showed up and
Hey, guess what? Your forest sucks, okay? Do you ever wonder why your path out east doesn't work anymore? It's because no one goes through there. You know why it's called Mirkwood? It's because it sucks. Maybe part of the reason it sucks is because you're such a shitty host.
I mean, he's been hosting the Necromancer for a while.
Yeah,
but
yeah. What's up with that? Why are you hosting the Necromancer, huh?
He's bigger than me.
Is it? No. It's probably because he doesn't have gems for you to steal.
Okay.
Asshole.
So
I bet you if the Necromancer had white gems, you would be at Dol Guldur right now.
Yeah, that one might be true. This guy's got to think. Like, one thing I'm going to say about Tolkien, and I never even thought about it until this reread, but I know the book is called Lord of the Rings, but a lot of men appreciating jewelry in these books. Everyone has a favorite accessory.
Yeah, Bilbo's favorite accessory is a rock that he uses to
Bilbo's favorite accessory is a magic ring. No, okay. So Thorin shows up in the Elf King's lands, armed with a band of other dwarves that are obviously on some sort of mission. The Elf King takes him and asks him, "What are you doing in my halls?" And Thorin,
hungry.
Yeah, and Thorin is. It's funny in the movie. He's a lunatic, just screaming at the top of his lungs,
Jesus.
trying to earn an Oscar, talking about how the Elf King didn't help him the last time. He
is there an Oscar in Smaug's Horde?
Maybe. Peter Jackson should have thrown it on the fire. He doesn't deserve it anymore. But yeah, he was a real jerk to the Elf King, and the Elf King's like, "Okay, I'll just throw you in jail until you're ready to tell me why you're here." Because I don't like it when armed people show up at my door, which is exactly what Thorin says.
You know why? You know why I had to be armed? Because there's fucking murder spiders in this forest.
The murder spiders pay taxes.
I doubt it.
They're allowed to be here.
Yeah,
but no,
if your forests were any better, I wouldn't need weapons.
So let's talk. Okay, fine. Let's talk about Thorin, Master Negotiator. Bard explains to Thorin in no uncertain terms that he has an army behind him that is going into that mountain one way or another.
That's not true. He says that he's going to besiege the mountain.
He says, I'm not
He
going
would
to...
rather not storm and try to murder the dwarves.
But that's how secure his position is. That he's like, Thorin, you're obviously having a bit of a moment right now because this is the dumbest thing anyone's ever seen.
I've got a wall.
You've got a wall.
I've got a wall and a pond. What do you have?
You've
That's
got a
right.
wall and 13 men, and one of them is a hobbit. And
yeah, he's our best guy, actually. He's been carrying this entire mission.
Thorin, you gotta know.
You know when I say it out loud like that.
Right now. Yeah. So Thorin actually shoots an arrow at Bard. That's master negotiator Thorin.
Was that at Bard? I thought it was at a guy who
he shoots it at his feet or whatever.
I thought it hit his shield, but I thought it was one of the guys who was just there to proclaim, all right, time's up. You're under siege unless you come out.
Oh, no, I guess you're right. Bard is there, but it was one of the trumpeters.
So why is there an arrow in there? Is that like a gold arrow or something?
Presumably they had arrows. But
yeah, whatever. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, you can make an arrow. Like Bilbo can huck a rock pretty good.
He fires an arrow, and Bart's just like, "Is that a fucking tree branch? What are you doing, dude?"
I'm Thorin Oaken Arrow. Yeah, you're not the only one with magic arrows, okay? But yeah. So anyway, Thorin's rude. That's my point. Thorin's rude, and now he's under siege.
Yeah. Look, I think that the men of Esgaroth, they deserve some money. They deserve a lot of money, for basically solving the problem here. But maybe the Elf King can fuck off a little bit, just go further down the mountain. All right.
See, the Elf King
get out of sight.
No, the Elf King's crafty now. This is the problem because the Elf King helped Bard for free, but it wasn't free because now the Elf King's in. He's in there. So I guess this will take us into the lore portion. I don't have a lot of specifics for this because it's kind of like everything in that whole Norse culture and Anglo-Saxon culture even.
It's about sieging and being sieged.
It's about almost every story you read. If it's about the people, if it's the heroes and not the gods, even the gods sometimes though. If you're a king and you lead men into battle, you must reward them. Technically, you don't have to. There's no law that says that. But a king who isn't generous with his gifts is not going to be king for very long. And so there is this kind of morality baked into the culture where they go around killing people and taking their stuff, but also greed is bad. So a king gets all the spoils, right? You raid a village, you bring everything out to the king with the understanding that the king will give it back according to who contributed the most. So if you were at the front of the battle, you killed 10 people all by yourself, you stormed a gate or something, you're getting a nice reward and you know that. And that's why you're going to give the king the opportunity to give you the stuff. It's a little performance. Keeps society together.
So maybe what these elves need to do to deserve the treasure is to fight a little battle, is what you're saying. Maybe they need to get in there and have perhaps a battle of 5 armies.
That's the morality that's working behind the scenes. Is the Elf King did Bard a favor. it doesn't really matter what the Elf King did. It doesn't matter if Thorin doesn't like him. It doesn't matter if the Elf King's presence there starts a war. Bard should repay the favor. And for more than that, he should insist, like he shouldn't turn his back on the Elf King.
How much grain does it cost, Ben? How much wood? You know, what's the price here? I can't imagine it's a 16th of this guy's treasure.
He's not looking for the 16th.
Oh, how much is he looking for, Ben?
He's looking for those white gems. That's what he wants. That's
how
why
many
he's
white
here.
how many white gems? What's your barter rate? White gems to housing. Keep in mind, this is when
you mean like
housing
a current
was
market,
affordable.
Yeah, I was gonna say a current market rate, like
this was written during the time and took place during a time where
my friend, if you want to build a house in my neighborhood and it's all new construction, that'll set you back $450,000.
Oh, that's pretty cheap, actually. I thought it would be at least 600.
Oh God, no! I don't think it's gotten that high here. That's still ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's awful. My house has appreciated in value almost $100,000 since we moved in like 4 years ago.
That's insane.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this guy's out there doing free construction, and all he wants,
it's not current market value though.
All he wants is several baseball-sized diamonds.
Several baseball? Really? That's it? Just a handful of baseball-sized diamonds?
Yeah, just a handful of baseball-sized diamonds.
Why did he not say that? Because Thorin could get his anger out and pay the debt at the same time. Just chucking baseball-sized diamonds at the Elf King's head.
Yeah, I mean, it's all he wants. He honestly, Elf King has a reasonable request. And so what I'm trying to say is, yeah, this is a time when kings, like, they're kind of more like gangs. They might, some of them get pretty big eventually, but you know, the politics, like, you could be replaced. You may not be king for very long. There haven't been like a lot of huge like dynasties here. So yeah, you gotta play the game. Thorin's not playing the game right now. Thorin's turning his back on people who've helped him.
He won't be replaced ever. He is going to be king under the mountain for a very long and glorious reign. Ben, how dare you even? That's treason. What you're saying right now, that's treason. We're gonna have to get you. Come on the other side of this wall, so the 13 of us can kick your ass.
The other thing I'll say, I assume I've made my point about Thorin being the bad guy. The other thing I'll say,
I also blame the Elf King, though. I'm on Team Lake Town.
The Elf King's intentions were not pure.
No,
but he did not torture anybody. He didn't like violate any of the social protocols.
Yeah, he did. He had really awesome magical picnics around starving people and refused to share his food, Ben. And then he kept casting magic spells on them. Dick.
I don't think he was there for the feasts.
Well, then his subjects. And guess what? You're responsible, oh Elf King.
Thorin, I'm coming over that wall.
Bring it on, motherfucker.
Thorin is just you, and you're wearing like a little like helmet with horns on it, and your nose just barely sticks out over the wall. You like stand up on your tiptoes. You're like, "Bring it on, motherfucker!" And then you duck back down. But no. So let's talk about the movie.
Jeez, do we have to?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of like the big differences here. One of the big differences I think in the movie is the movie kind of overplays the elves and downplays the men. Like
Yeah, because they're the more interesting ones, Ben. What
Well,
with them being assholes and also elves and also Legolas.
Legolas isn't there for most of it. He's in Angband watching bats come out of a hole.
Okay.
And then he turns around and goes back. I don't know why he went to Angband. They needed something for him to do. Did you hear Evangeline Lilly is going to quit acting?
I don't know who that is.
That's Tariel, girl elf, the wasp.
I don't care. Good for her, I guess.
Yeah.
Be nice if I could quit my job. Actually, I like my job. But it'd be
Yeah.
nice to have that money.
You're the only one. I think she's quitting acting because a bunch of people got mad at her for being like anti-COVID vaccines or something.
Oh, yeah. No, fuck her.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing. I was like, oh no, Evangeline Lilly, star of The Hobbit? Well, let me get out my violin and mark this occasion. You know, I could believe an anti-vaxxer was the star of The Hobbit. Anyway. Yeah, so in the book, the men are not a bunch of like filthy, disgusting, barely armed peasant weirdos. They're actually pretty solid army. And they're actually pretty ready to take Thorin out by themselves. The elves are kind of there because they got nothing better to do. But in the movie, the elves really carry the show. And then, of course, Alfred's there. We've talked about Alfred.
Yeah, Alfred
This-
Pennyworth.
This is nearing the moment he wears a dress.
For some reason.
I'll have to hold you in suspense. We're not there yet. In the movie, though, the conversation. This might be why I was confused. In the movie, the conversation happens specifically between Thorin and Bard, and it happens in this weird like hole in the wall. Like there's a perfectly circular hole in the wall. And Thorin is very obviously like crazy now. Just full blown like jumping at shadows crazy. And he's like, get the elves out of here. And then I'll pay you for the weapons and whatever you gave us. And Bard's like, yeah, no, my people are starving. I'm gonna be taking a little bit more than that. And
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, and yeah, it plays out more or less the same way. This part is more or less done the same as the. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have a ton to say about this one. It's a quickie.
Okay.
So I guess with that, look forward to the next episode, which is not the cloud burst. It's not ready to burst yet, but it is going to darken more.
The cloud continues.
The cloud continues. The next one is a thief in the night. Perhaps burglary will be involved. Dun dun dun.